All right, let's get to the OSU Cowboys.
Let's
Tough
do it.
season in 2024. Here's what I think we know about Oklahoma State. They've made a lot of changes. They're going to have a brand new quarterback, speaking of quarterbacks. And I think it's going to be one of these two guys. They've tried out four, but I think Zane Flores is the redshirt freshman from Nebraska. Hoss Haney, a transfer from TCU.
Both young guys, different players. Zane Flores is more of the passer. Hoss Haney is more of the runner and very athletic, I might add, but I think he can pass it as well. We'll see who they end up going with.
They're looking for playmakers. I like this kid, the young freshman running back, Rodney Fields Jr., had an outstanding end to the season last year. Can he be a guy to help the Cowboys as they move forward in 2025? It's interesting because I talked to the head coach, Mike Gundy, and he said, yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about my football team. I'm sure he knows more now.
Definitely.
But I got to talk to Mike Gundy one-on-one to talk about the Cowboys and what they expect in 2025. What should OSU fans be excited about watching your football team play this year?
We'll be fast. We'll be physical. Will be exciting offensively to watch, in my opinion. The things we'll do. We have to stay healthy.
This season might be Mike Gundy's biggest challenge in his 20-year tenure at Oklahoma State. Not only will the Cowboys have a brand new quarterback and at least 17 new starters on offense and defense, but Mike Gundy has an entirely new staff that includes 13 new coaches, a brand new offensive coordinator, and a brand new defensive coordinator. Big changes after losing 9 straight games to end the season, finishing 3-9. It was the worst record in Mike Gundy's career.
And there's the shot, wide open, and that ball is picked off.
And that pass picked off.
Intercepted.
Pick 6.
They've got it, and much, much more. Untouched, touchdown.
Oklahoma State hasn't won a football game in 2.5 months.
You made it a point to talk about all the success that you've had over the course of time and during your tenure. I assume that gives you confidence thinking, coming off of a season that was disappointing, how you bounce back and do it in a hurry.
Yeah, I don't have any lack of confidence in what we can accomplish. There's going to be more parity across college football in the years to come, and even more so now with the transfer portal. That side, in my opinion, is going to look a lot like the NFL. One thing that's concerning to me with the way college football is, we don't have a lot of spare quarterbacks laying around that have experience. Nobody in the country does, okay? That's a little scary. So we need to stay healthy, but I feel like that we'll have an exciting brand of football on both sides of the ball that the fans will be like, I'm glad I came to watch this.
Oklahoma State will debut a brand new quarterback or two to start this season. And in some of Oklahoma State's most memorable seasons, they've had a dual threat quarterback. That means running and passing. But it comes with a warning for Mike Gundy because he's been burned before. Going all the way back to Zach Robinson and J.W. Walsh or Spencer Sanders. All of them battled injuries at different times in their career. Does the quarterback thing, does that make you second guess guys who can run around a little bit because they get hit a little more often?
Those discussions have taken place.
Yeah.
So I think it's everybody in the country that, okay, you've got a guy that you feel like can help you win games. He's mobile. We all know that a quarterback's mobile gives you a better chance to win games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the guy backing him up's never played before. So do I use him as much as I think I should? I think that's a factor now.
It's interesting, the parity in this league, and everybody talks about the parity in the Big 12, and that's obviously true. Do you need one or two of you guys to take a step forward and become more of a dominant force in this league?
I think that people feel like in the big picture for national exposure that has to happen. But I'm a common sense person. I'm going to use common sense here. So whenever the playoff committee is going to pick what would be the remaining, let's say it's 11 teams, let's say it's 5-11, okay? Are they going to rely on what has been past history or what those teams did this year? So I wouldn't argue that it would help, but when I use common sense, I'm going to look at Arizona State last year. It would have been ashamed if they didn't win the league and they had a 10-win season to not put them in, because they very well and almost could have advanced past a pretty good football team that had invested a lot of money.
Had Texas beat.
Right. So that's why I think from a common sense standpoint, it shouldn't matter, but maybe it does.